Hi, Professor Vensky. Super weird coming to you in this way of a video. Definitely thought that I would be talking at Doorway to the Mind, but we're just making the most of the situation. And yeah, so I just want to share with you what I've learned from this inclusive from this inclusive independent study, and just how sweet it's been and how much I've learned from it. And so I had 4 goals, and so I'm going to share with you what those four goals were, and then I'm just going to talk through how they played out, and just share with you what we've been doing despite the corona in Young Life. So the 4 goals that I originally had was 1, to meet with special needs staff at the high school that I lead at, 2, increase attendance at club, meaning like increasing the attendance for kids who like minority, like kids who have different abilities, just like making club look more inclusive versus just all one type of person. And then an inclusive Bible study, and then increasing leaders' inclusivity. So like their eyes for other people, just making sure that leaders are being super intentional about that. And so originally, when we did do programming, so before Corona happened, I think we had like a month of program, which is campaigners on Mondays and clubs on Wednesdays. So we only got a month of that in, and so during that time, I was tracking attendance. And so we had an average of 50 kids coming to club, and out of those 50, I would say 3 to 4 a week had different abilities. So it wasn't a super high number, but I think it's something to start with, and it was really sweet, and I got really excited for it because I think I was trying to not be like, oh, a bunch of kids with different disabilities or with different abilities aren't just going to show up. And so it was kind of cool to build relationships with the 4 students that were. And so I briefly talked to you about 2 of those students are older, and they're actually becoming leaders. So in Young Life, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, we call the special needs ministry within Young Life is called Capernaum. And so that is what we've been like working with. And so the 2 older kids, they're 24 and 23, they're going to be Capernaum leaders. And so they started going to leadership meetings, and I know we talked about that, and I talked about how they're super distracting. And so you mentioned, like, what if we gave them roles and, like, made them feel super important and, like, just as valued as we are as leaders. And so it's been such a big focus for me and other leaders is to, like, they are no different than we are, and their abilities are just different and so special and so good, and like they can do things that we can't do. And so it was really just about celebrating that this semester, which is really sweet. So they ended up coming to leadership, and we'd have them pray at the end, or we'd have them at club, we'd have them help set up with lights and help set up with just anything with music, or just giving them roles, which was super helpful. And I think they really valued that and felt really valued being there, which was really cool, and makes me so excited for just our future ministry. And so because of Corona, I couldn't really continue to track the attendance, so that's a bit of a bummer. And I did reach out to the staff at RB to meet with them and to talk with them, but it was around the time that everything was shutting down. So I unfortunately did not hear back from them, but I do have a plan set in place that next semester I'm going to try to volunteer for Special Olympics just so that I could build relationships with more students, and just like get to know them better, and like grow relationships with them. And the end goal would be that they would feel welcomed and included at Young Life. So those are the 2 goals that I did not meet. And then the other 2 goals I'm super excited to share with you because it's inclusive Bible study and then increasing leaders' inclusivity. And so for the inclusive Bible study, I guess I'm going to start with this story, is that I have a friend, and her name is Siggy, and she is my age, but she was a part of Best Buddies, and when I was a sophomore in high school, I was named her buddy, and so I've been super close with her for the past 4 years. And she is someone that I talk to, and she comes to Young Life pretty consistently, and I think I used to struggle as she came only to hang out with me, and like she doesn't feel very welcomed, like she's only coming to hang out with me. And so talking to other leaders and asking other leaders to help me in that, because it's difficult for me to lead other girls. Like, she's someone who needs all of my attention, and I was feeling very like torn because I'm there to be a leader, not just to one person. And so I was feeling super stressed last year about how can I balance this friendship that I love and value and I want her to show up, but not feel like I can't be with other girls. And so it was really cool to see other leaders help me in that and step up with that, which was really sweet. So anyways, she's I think with this whole corona situation, something that has been really heavy on my heart is that kids with disabilities right now are, like, they're already isolated, right? In normal life, like, they're people who aren't necessarily as social as we are, or do not have as many social opportunities as we have. And so it was like breaking my heart that knowing that like a lot of these students do not have the resources we have, right? Like, I can get on FaceTime and FaceTime my friends, and that's super easy and fun and life-giving for me. Or I can hop on a Zoom call and see my classmates, and but like school for them looks a lot different than school looks like for us. And so they were just super on my heart. And so one of my goals for this quarantine was to be super intentional with Siggy. And so texting her every day and FaceTiming her every other day was a schedule that I came up with. And one of the FaceTime calls that I had with her, she called me sobbing. And I was like, what's going on? And previously, so last semester, she applied for like 20 jobs and like struggled to get one in, an interview after interview, and just like no one wanted her. And she finally got a job at Marshall's, and I've never seen someone so excited for a job, which is like also just something I'm learning is we take for granted such simple things, right? Like, me getting a job at Marshall's would just not be like that big of a deal, but it would be like good that I had a job, but it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But to her, like, she worked so hard for that simple job. And so when she called me sobbing, she called to tell me that they let her go because of Corona. And it was such, like, I felt so helpless and like so torn. And so I just like wanted to be super intentional with my time with her and just making sure that she felt loved and known in this hard time. And so as I shared that with my boss, she was like, helping me think of ways that, like, because if this is true for Siggy, this is true for many other students, right? That a lot of people are struggling, feeling lonely right now. And so what could we do to figure out a way to include them and not have them feel like they're forgotten about? And so I did reach out to more staff and asked if there's any way I could like maybe tutor anyone over Zoom or like anything I could help. And I did not hear back from them either, which is another bummer. But me and my boss came up with the idea of doing a Capernaum game night. So, well, we were going to do a Bible study, but then we figured they just need a space to have fun. And it doesn't need to be with us sharing the Bible right away. Like, it could be just giving them a space to like talk and feel known and welcomed. So it took us a while to set it up and to talk to parents, and there just was a lot of planning that goes into something like that. Like, we have to create a Zoom, we have to make sure that the students that we're inviting have accessibility. So if we wanted to play a game like over the phone, they'd have to have a laptop and a phone, and some of their skills aren't, like, that's not possible. And so it was like, how could we create a game night, something fun for them to do, but that they were like could do it. And so in order to do that, which comes in with my second goal, is I asked 2 junior high school students if they wanted to help. So it was really cool to know that these girls had a desire to be inclusive and to like allow them to step into it and help us plan this. And so last week we actually did our first game night, and it was over Zoom, and we ended up doing just a scavenger hunt. So we had a slideshow of words. So it was like ball or toilet paper or a shoe, and so each one, like, we'd say ready, set, go, and we'd show the next word, and they'd all run throughout their house and then bring it back to the call and show us the item, and we kept track of who won, and then we had a winner. And it was an hour, and it was the most joyful thing we had 7 kids show up, which is even better than we had showing up to clubs, which was so exciting. And we gave Eric and Josh, the 2 Capernaum leaders, we gave them like responsibility. So like Eric's responsibility was inviting friends, and then Josh's was he prayed at the end. And it was just the most incredible experience. All of them were so willing to talk, and we in between each round, we asked them a question. So like, what animal would you be? Or like, what's your favorite animal? Or where would you travel to? Or what's the first thing you would do when Corona's over? Like, we just asked a bunch of questions, and it was incredible. And so that's something that we're going to do consistently. So we're going to do it every Monday night. And we asked all of them to start asking their friends, like telling their friends, like, hey, we're doing this game night, like, you're more than welcome to come. And then the junior girls who are like helping us be leaders, they're actually going to invite more friends too. So it was just such a cool experience. And so despite not being able to be in person, it's almost a blessing, because we get to have this intimate space with them where it's like they're being celebrated and they have a space where they can fully be themselves. And we have high school students helping us be inclusive, and it just was such a sweet thing. And so yeah, it's just been really cool. And so that's basically what my update is that the coronavirus kind of messed up the whole thing, like just felt so different, and this independent study did not look like anything we had planned, but honestly it was so worth it, and there's so much good coming from it. And it definitely lit a fire in my heart of like, this is something I want to do. I want to live a life where I'm including others in ministry and just in general in every situation in life. And so thank you for allowing me to count this as school credits. Thank you for just being incredible and helping me with this, because it really was so helpful and so encouraging, and I'm super excited to keep pursuing this and just to see what comes out of it. Yeah, so thank you so much. I hope that this covers what you wanted to hear. I can also answer any questions that you have for me. I could send another video. I just wasn't really sure. I think that's basically an update on all that I've been learning, and yeah, it was really an incredible experience, and I'm super, super grateful for it. Yeah, so thank you so much. I hope you're doing really well despite the circumstances, and yeah, I hope you have a good summer. I would love to meet next semester and just chat. I'm actually found a way to graduate in the fall, so I'll be taking summer classes so that I could graduate after the fall semester, which is exciting and sweet. And I think I'm going to be going on Young Life staff, which is even sweeter and cool. And grateful that you gave me the opportunity to count this as credits, because it allowed me to pursue this and be super passionate and put a lot of time into it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I would love to keep in contact next semester. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye.